Now let us see the spread of Jainism. Mahavira admitted both men and women as teachers to spread Jainism in the northern and Gangetic plains, and they commanded the order of Jainas. Mahavira followers are about 14,000 in number, and they used to send to the villages where they used to teach these Jaina principles to the people. Jainism failed to attract the large number of people, but it is spread in the northern region as well as in the southern region, where the Brahminical religion is very weak. They spread through very simple and family morals, which are taught in the language of their region. The language of their region at that time was Prakrit, and they never used Sanskrit to teach there in those circumstances. The main cause of the spread of the Jainism in the southern region is because in the northern Gangetic plains and also in the Magadha region, we found the great famine that has occurred, which has disturbed all the people. But many of the people of Jainas migrated to the southern region, and where they established under the leadership of Bhadrabahu. But this was happened after the death of Mahavira 200 years later. But in the northern region, the remaining Jaina monks and Jainas has taken up the leadership of Stolabhadra. Mahavira travelled about 8 months in a year to teach his teachings to the people along the Gangetic plain and also along Magadha region. And the remaining 4 months he used to teach from the towns of the Vaisali, Champa, Mithila, Ragagriha and Sravasti. Jainism received the royal patronage of the dynasties of the kings of the Magadha, Haryanka and Nanda dynasties. According to the Jaina tradition, UDAYIN, he is the great Jaina follower. He is the successor of Ajatasatru, and in the 1st century, the Ujjain has become the central point of the spread of Jainism in the northern region, and from there the message was the saints of the day, that is the Kalakachari and Gardhabhilla and his son Vikram are the witness for this. But in the southern region, the Sravana Belgola of Mysore has become the central point to spread the Jainism. The Jainism has spread under the leadership and group of monks of Bhadrabahu in the 4th century BC. A late inscription of 900 AD records that the Chandragiri, the Mysore, is the marked the footprints of Bhadrabahu and also the Chandragupta Manipati. The Jainism spread and became more popular, especially among the mercantile community at that time. Chandragupta Maurya, under royal patronage, joined himself with the Bhadrabahu's march towards the south. While they were moving to the south, he gave the caves of Mysore, or he gave the caves of Chandragiri to the Jainas. King Karvela of Kalinga, he made and professed Jainism as his own religion. He arranged a meeting of the Jaina Council in the year 160 BC. And by that time, the Digambaras and Svetambaras have already split into two major groups of the Jainism. Jainism enjoyed greatest patronage under the Karavala in the neighborhood of the Orissa, and he defeated the kings of Andhra and also the kings of Magadha. In the first and second centuries, the Jainism reached to the Tamil Nadu. In the Kushan period, Jainism flourished in the Mathura, and the Mathura has become a dominant place for the Jainism propagation. And it is also known that in the eastern India, the Jainism is propagated very much under the period of King Harsha. Therefore, the early centuries we found in the North India, the Madura has become the greatest center for the activities of the Jainism, and in the south, Sravana Belgola near Mysore has become the very important active center in the southern region. And it is evident from the inscriptions, number of inscriptions and the number of images obtained, and also the number of monuments and several documents that is appeared in those two places. In the 5th century, royal dynasties of south, that is the Gangas, the Kadambas, the Chalukyas, the Rashtrakutas, the kings of all these dynasties patronized the Jainism. The Rashtrakuta king Manyaketha gave great encouragement to the development of the Jainism, and he encouraged the art of Jainism, and also he encouraged the poets of the Jainas into his kingdom, and most of the Jaina poets have become the flourished in his kingdom. In 1100 AD, in Gujarat, the Jainism has gone up to the peaks. Under the king Siddharaja, he was the Chalukya king, and his successor, that is Kumarapala, they patronized the Jainism in the Gujarat, and they have encouraged the literary aspects of the Jainism, and also they have encouraged temple building of Jainistic patterns. In the Muslim period, the Jainism has flourished in Rashtrakuta, that is Rajaputana, that is nothing but Rajasthan. And in that period, the Jainas, especially, they occupied the places of the ministers, and also they occupied many other important places like generals in the army of the Muslims. The Jainism has not crossed the borders of India, whereas the Buddhism has crossed and developed elsewhere, that is in Sri Lanka, in Bhutan, etc. But the Jainism still exists till now in India in the small groups of the mercantile community in the north as well as southern India.